Koei Tecmo and Gust would like to know your opinions about the Atelier franchise, and 10 of you can win some goodies if you do a survey. Let's check it out. So we have this Atelier survey asking us questions about the Atelier series, and at the end of it you could get a special wallpaper, and 10 people will be able to get some Atelier goodies for your collection. And this survey will be up around until June 23rd, so you have some time to do this, but I feels like you should do it as soon as you can, just to get in the winnings of being one of the 10 people that's selected. Now, what can you get? You get a Atelier Resiliana original bag, a Atelier Marie remake original clear file, a Ryza 3 original smartphone stand, Sophie 2 original acrylic block of Sophie and Platia, and an Atelier Series 25th anniversary original towel. And that is some pretty good stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and do it and go through this. You can find this survey through their Twitter post that they made on Twitter right here, but I'll leave a link in the description down below just so you don't have to go over to Twitter if you don't want to, just if people are watching this and they want to do it. So I'm gonna go through this because I am an Atelier fan and I do want some of this merch. So I'm gonna go and see what answers and questions they are asking. So the first question is basic information. What is my age? They try to dox my age real quick, but I am 34. I will be 35 this year in November. Not really looking forward to it, but it is what it is. I am from the country of the USA. Unfortunately. Which social media platforms do you currently use? I use Discord, fuck Facebook, Instagram. I don't really use Pinterest as much anymore, or Snapchat, but I use TikTok, I use Tumblr, and I use Twitter. I also use YouTube, which you should subscribe to. Make sure you do that right now. I'm not gonna put that last part, but I'm gonna say Twitch and YouTube just for fun. What devices do you currently own? I own a PS5, PS4, a Switch, and I own a PC, because that's mostly what I need to play my game. Favorite games and genres. I love RPG. That's my favorite games to play. It always has been. But I also occasionally love adventure games. Sometimes I enjoy a good trading card game, depending on what it is, a little bit of Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh! But that's mostly what I stay in. I'm not really big on racing. I do dabble in some simulation/strategy games, so Animal Crossing, Harvest Moon, and all that. So that's kind of what I play in. But I guess I could say some action, but not too much. It depends on what it is. Please tell us about your favorite game or series, and please choose between the following. I love Final Fantasy VII, but I do appreciate the Final Fantasy franchise. Kingdom Hearts is a given. The Mana series for sure. Nier, yes. Tales I've played and I love. They definitely need to make a new Tales of Abyss, a remake or a port, something, please. Shibagami Tensei, yes. Persona, of course. Legends of Heroes. I've never actually played the Legend of Heroes series, but I do want to play it eventually. The Yeast series, yes, I do play, and I'm definitely looking forward to Yeast 10 when it does come out. Pokemon, who hasn't played Pokemon? Legend of Zelda, of course. Fire Emblem, please give us a Fire Emblem remake of Awakening, please. Definitely need. The Xenosaga series, or Xeno Chronicles, whatever you want to call it. RPG series in general. It's weird that they didn't put like Neptunia on here, or like Ryza, or the Atelier series, or anything like that. It's weird that they didn't put their own series. Please tell us your experience with the Atelier series. I have personally played, of course, Atelier Marie because of the remake. The first game I played in the entire Atelier series was none of these but Rorona. I started playing them on the PS3. I do know that they first started to get localized on the PS2, but my first game was Verona, and it has continued ever since. So I played all of these, Tortori, Memoru, Lula. I didn't play Aisha or Eshka, but I did play Atelier Shelley. I did play that one, and then I moved into Sophie, of course, Ferris, and then I didn't play Leiden because I just didn't buy it for some reason. I don't know why, but I do have it, but I do want to play it eventually. And of course, I played all the Ryza. Of course, I played all the Ryza games. Who hasn't played all the Ryza games at this point? It is just that point. And then of course, I played Resolariana as well. So that is my resume. I haven't played Nickel and the Legendary Alchemist yet. I tried to play online, but I wasn't really that fond of it. So that is where my standing. There is a DS game also I never played, but at least that's my. I want to go back and play all of them eventually, but one of those days it's going to come, but it hasn't come yet. What do you love about the Atelier series? I love the characters, the lore, and the world design, and the synthesizer, and the gathering. I mean, I just love it all. Let me just be honest. I love it all. I love this series in general. It really captivated my love for gathering and synthesizing. I really didn't like that kind of stuff until I played Atelier Verona, and it really opened up my world on a whole different type of play style that I didn't enjoy. So when I started playing Final Fantasy XIV Online, that's the one thing I gravitated to the most, when I was able to synthesize and make stuff and gather items to really make new stuff for new people. I really did enjoy that for that particular reason. So that is pretty much what that is. I'm gonna check all these because I just love the Atelier series in general. What is the best point of the Atelier series? I think the best parts about Atelier the most is the characters. Or can you only choose one? Ooh, okay, now that's a little is the synthesizing. That is the main focus of the game and the main gameplay loop. And if the synthesizing isn't fun or enjoyable to play, then the whole other game of it just goes down. What are you looking for most for the Atelier series? Cute characters, immersive story, design, graphics, music, strategic battle system, interesting synthesizing system, interesting gathering system, a box edition content, region exclusive bonuses, playable in English. Yes. I feels like it's a shame that we never got an English dub for Ryza. As much as I love the Japanese vocal cast, I really wanted to see what the game would have been like in English and have an English voice and see what they would have been able to do. We haven't truly had an English cast since Sophie 1. But all these other things I do really love in an Atelier game. I love the cute characters. I think they knock it out of the park with every new design. The story is always somewhat immersive to the alchemist that is in the game at the point. There's other characters that I truly love their stories for more. Sometimes designs also goes into just the world in general, and then just the battle systems and all that. I love that mostly with the Atelier series or Ryza has improved so much about the Atelier series that I just was not expecting whatsoever. I think the main thing that was the biggest benefit of Ryza is the freeing aspect. They took away the day and night cycle where you were limited by time. They took that away and let the game be a little bit more free to kind of choose when you wanted to do things. And the side quest material was also a lot better, in my opinion. Please answer the questions about the newer titles in the Atelier series, Ryza 3, Marie, Remake, Atelier, or Resolariana as well. Have you purchased any of the newer titles? I have purchased Ryza 3, Marie, and Resolariana. Now, Atelier Remake, I did get from Koei Tecmo as a free product. So I didn't buy it originally, but then I did go out and buy it for my physical edition just because I wanted to have it physical as well. But Ryza 3 and Atelier Resolariana I did buy. I mean, technically you don't buy Resolariana because it's a free game. For those who chose Ryza 3, why did you play it? I mean, because I played Ryza 1. One, I'm a fan of JRPGs. I'm a fan of the Atelier series. I'm a fan of the Secret series. English subtitles, English version released at the same time with the Japanese version. I mean, I feels like there's not a bad option here. The story in the game world, Ryza 3 was huge. That game was absolutely massive. I enjoyed every part of it. There was no way you were playing through that entire game in one setting through just the story alone. Like, it was so massive. There were some things that I had to not even put in my original playthrough, which you can watch right here in the cards up there if you guys want to check it out. The world building itself was just amazing. The main character, Ryza, is just adorable. I mean, besides just being super cute and adorable and hot, I just love her tenaciousness to find her own adventure, to break past the norm of what your family expects of you, and trying to map out your own destiny, but also being confused about what that may be. Even though she was this very talented alchemist at first, it seemed like she didn't want to really use it to take over the world or anything. She just wanted to be a girl that went on adventures and seen cool stuff, but then other stuff was thrust upon her that she just had to take on. And I just really love that about Ryza in general. And then of course the other characters from Flint and Toe and Claudia and Boss, and all their stories that you get to see as the stories go on. It's a beautiful, amazing game. I really loved everything about Ryza, and I think that's why it's such an appeal to most people. For those who chose Marie Remake, I mean, most of this is going to be the same. I love RPGs and JRPGs. I'm a fan of the Atelier series. I'm a fan of Atelier Marie. Now, I can't say I was a fan of Atelier Marie because I didn't really know about it until they started talking about the remake, but I did know it was the first ever Atelier's game, and I always hoped to play it. And now that they've remade the game, now I just want more of the remakes of the original game so I can have the chance to play them, because some of us hasn't had the chance to play them, especially on the PS2 and the ones that never been localized. So I would love to see those games be remade so more people can play them. I really love the cute and chibi style of the game, that it had a little bit I love that they have a lot more options for you to play it. That if you wanted to play it in an original way that you wanted to, then you could, but also they gave you some non-limited restrictions of the game so you can play the game almost in the same style of a Ryza game, but still have the Marie day-to-day cycle style, which I did enjoy. Also, I did play that all the way through. If you want to check out the cards for that as well, I did play that. I also love that they added more stuff as you went. They didn't add a ton, but they gave you the glasses for the 25-year anniversary. They gave you a nice new Marie outfit, and for some other characters as well. So I really did enjoy that they did give as much as they could for that game for when it was out. The next question is for Resiliana. I'm a fan of RPGs. I do wish that this game had English voice acting as well, especially this game. I feel like this game should be one of the games that has English voice acting because it's a gacha game. And most games nowadays for most gacha games do have a English and Japanese dub. And I feel like this one could do that, especially for how much quality and budget goes into the game anyway. I understand why it's a visual novel style, because it makes it easier for a gacha game. However, I am kind of ashamed that we didn't get like more of an open zone type world when it comes to the alchemy and gathering, because you have this more side scroll linear gameplay, and it's hard to come off of it coming from Ryza 3 or Sophie 2 to come to this where it's just a flat side scrolling linear path where you can literally autopilot. I feels like if it was just the gathering that felt like more an open space or an open field that you can go and kind of gather, I think a lot more people would have been a lot more happier with the game. But I feels like because it's so limiting on already just kind of sitting there just reading, it doesn't feel as fleshed out to me. The synthesizer system is pretty good. I also love that because it's an online game, you have recommendations on what is the best synthesizing to kind of save your time, which I utilize all the time, because I feels like it's one of the worst things when you gather a bunch of materials and then you kind of waste them on the lowest grade kind of weapons and materials and stuff. So I love that they have a recommended, so people who have went through all the trials and tribulations of finding out the best combinations can save other people time on getting the right combinations already. So it doesn't guarantee you a super success, but it does give you a better chance of saving your material. For those who chose Resiliana, have you played any other Atelier game? I have. For those who chose yes, in which Atelier titles did you play since you started playing the game? And this is my response for this question. I've played a lot of Atelier franchise before ever playing Resiliana. What drew me into playing this game, I would be able to play as past characters in a whole new way. Because some of the characters that we've seen haven't been in 3D in this type of way in modern technology in a long time, not since ever. So being able to see them in a much more better 3D environment and like a integrated story was something I was very looking forward to. So that's what drew me into the game the most. But plus just me being an Atelier fan. For those who didn't play any of the newer titles in the Atelier series, Atelier Ryza 3, Atelier Marie, Remake, and Resiliana, why did you choose not to purchase titles? So I'm not really going to answer this because I did buy the games. What do you want to know about the new game when it is announced? I would love to know about battle system, the gathering system. Oh, we can only choose one. Why did they only make you choose one? I guess anything is the synthesizing system. Because like, as I said before, the synthesizing is the biggest part of an Atelier series. And if that is not as fun as it should be, then the whole game falls apart. Where do you get most of your information about games? I get my resources from all over, from game articles, from Twitter mostly, and then just other videos like this. What kind of information do you often get from official social channels like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, etc.? Whatever that matters. So like promotional information, characters, I'm gonna collect all of them. What kind of content would you like to see posted on official social media channels at Twitter, Facebook, and etc.? I would say mostly for me. So for me, I would love to see, of course, game updates. Concept art would be cool to see every so often, just to see where they got the idea or inspiration for a character. Also, just seeing new key art from the respective illustrators would be cool to see. Just every so often, just throw out a new piece of art from one of the games. And I think that's just how you keep the genre and the franchise alive for certain games who hasn't had new art in forever. And I think that's one of the reasons why I love Resiliana so much, besides just seeing new characters, but seeing all the new art that you don't really get to see ever. Do you visit the official website when a new Atelier titles are announced? Not often. I normally just use YouTube and mostly, but when I was doing research for Resiliana, I did use that site, the website, a lot. How did you purchase the console Atelier titles when you purchased it / them in the past? I'm assuming if you needed a PS5, would you buy a PS5 for that console? Yeah. Most of the time, most games draws me to that set console. If I need a PS5 to play Final Fantasy VII Remake or Rebirth, then I'm gonna get a PS5. If I need a Switch 2 just to play the new Atelier game, then I'll buy a Switch 2 just to play that. If I need a PC, so forth, so but I will. If there is a new console / PC version of Atelier in the future, what DLC would you like to see? Costumes! Look, one of the things that I had the biggest gripe about Atelier Ryza 3 is that we didn't get any new costumes. Like, all the other Ateliers always had costumes and different ways to customize your outfits. But it seemed like Atelier Ryza 3 was very limited on the costumes. Surprising for Koei Tecmo. What kind of collaboration works would you like to see in the future for Atelier titles? I would always say this, to me, I think one crossover that would really make a lot of sense is with the Neptunia franchise, as I think the Neptunia franchise is almost like a sister series, as they started to get popular around the same time during the PS3 era, in my opinion. and I feels like they kind of been going hand in hand a little bit. It feels like the Atelier series has gone up a little bit better in quality for games, but I still love both nonetheless. So that is my answer for that. A2 mobile games, I mean, just copy and paste my answer. That's pretty much the same thing I would say. Goods, what kind of games slash anime related goods do you usually purchase? So what I said, tapestries, figures, of course, I love figures. I always buy figures. And then of course, other merchandise that appeals to me, or if I just have the space for it. Because sometimes as a collector, you run out of space really fast when you're in a franchise or love a franchise. So just finding space for something is always the biggest ordeal for a collector. So, but I mostly will kind of take anything depending on what it is. What kind of Atelier series related goods would you like to see in the future? I would love to see a toaster. Why? Because Sonic did one, and I think it's kind of funny when they do add normal type of things like that. I don't know if people would actually buy it or not, but I think it'd just be funny to see. Do you like Atelier titles soundtracks? Yes, I love the soundtracks. I always listen to the soundtracks for Atelier. For those who chose yes, which Atelier titles soundtracks do you like the most? Corona's soundtrack, Rise's 2 and 3's soundtrack. Anytime they allow me to use any soundtrack, I always use the Atelier Corona soundtrack, and 3 or 2. 2 or 3 for Ryza. For those who chose yes, which video game or anime soundtracks do you like? Ooh, they're asking me a big question. My favorite soundtrack of all time is Streets of Rage 2. Then after that, Nier Automata soundtrack. I have to say Stellar Blade. What console games have you played in the past year besides the Atelier series? How many games do you play a year? A lot. As a content creator and a YouTuber, I play a lot, more than 11. I always buy physical versions. I don't think that needs to be elaborated anymore. Next question. What is the most criterion when purchasing a console game for another company? You can only choose one. Hence, there's a lot of factors. I like the series, I'm gonna say. Do you like to play trial versions of a game before you purchase? Yes. Because then it actually gives you an idea of what you're in for, especially if you're into a series that you never played before, or you're just getting into. So playing a trial version of a game allows you to see what the game is about, but also make you understand if you want to play it or not. I feels like the game franchise is already going to make enough money to begin with, so just having a trial version is just makes people trust your game eventually. Because even with being a trial version, it doesn't mean that the game will be this way when the final product comes out. So I always believe in a trial version. What would you like to experience in a trial version? Pretty much just all I said. I just explained it. So what is the maximum price you will accept for a new game release or console? I would say right now the standard is $70. If it's a collector's edition, that's a different story depending on what it is. Maybe $150 for a collector's edition, or sometimes $200, but that's even pushing it even more. But I will say $70 is a good limit. I know there's a criteria right now that they're trying to increase the amount for paying for a game, and I'm okay with just 7. Please just keep it 7. We're already struggling hard enough as it. What is the maximum price you can accept for a remake game released on the console? Depends on how much the remake goes into it. Like for Marie, that got a remake that had a lot of quality of life improvements to the game that I wouldn't know because I never played the original, but it definitely seems like it had a lot more quality of life to it. I would warrant that it is at least 40 to 50. If it's a game that's just a remaster of a game or a port, then it should only be like $30 because it's just a port. I mean, even if you did some enhancements and stuff, it's not warrant $60 or something. So I would say 40 and 50 is a good amount for a remake or a remaster. Now, like I said, if it goes into more details like a Final Fantasy VII remake or Marie, they're kind of like different games, but not really. I mean, Marie is essentially a remake of the original game. Remake Final Fantasy VII is a remake of the game, but not actually really play it. And that's all I'm saying. What is the maximum price you can accept for a remastered or console? I just explained this. So just rewind what I just said, and that's my answer. Other comments or suggestions about the Atelier series. If you have other comments or suggestions about the series, Atelier series, please feel free to leave a message. I'm going to just say watch this entire video because I just explained everything. I'm not going to really say that, but for the convenience, this is the wallpaper you get for completing the survey, which you get a lot of the characters from the artwork from Atelier Resariana with Resna, Sophie, Marie, Riza, and Valerie in a nice, good cell phone or PC version. I think that's really cool. It's something nice for just doing the survey and a nice little piece of merchandise in a way for the game. So, but if you did enjoy this video and would like to see more of this type of video, click this video right here to see me talk about and predict the next Atelier games that's coming up within the future. So, hey, it'll be fun, I promise.
Seems like the life I feel. Seems like the life I feel is a little distant, yeah. Seems like the life I need. Seems like the life I need is a little distant, yeah. Like the river deep, yeah. Seems like while